I know it's been sort of a dreary Wednesday, and a chilly, dreary Wednesday at that, which I know nobody wants.
But you know what? Great opportunity to maybe catch some featured films over at the Milton, they're having their film festival today.
That's right, yes.
So go check that out. Great way to support some local artists.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm one of your co-hosts, Charlie Sokaitis.
And I'm your other co-host, Leah Rizzo. We'll be the sunshine here for you on a rainy day.
You've dressed for it.
Yes, of course. Adding a little bit of sunshine to another great outfit from Water Lily. But we wanted to dive into a couple of fun conversational talkers today. One being the sink divorce, if you've ever heard of that. So more and more couples, it seems, are increasing looking at homes that have the dual vanity or two sinks to sort of prevent any sort of tension from, you leave your makeup all over the place, you leave your hairs all over the sink, kind of conversations that often crop up between couples.
Now, I'm going to get into my feelings on this in a second, but you had a very specific take on this, so let's get into that.
Well, yeah, I feel like I grew up in a family of 5, and we really grew up on top of each other. I mean, we were always in each other's space. My sister and I shared a room our entire lives, and I feel like that has made me very good at sharing my space and rather considerate of sharing my space with others. So like if I do make a big mess with my makeup, I clean it up. Crazy, right? So for me, I'm like, oh, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's kind of nice sometimes to share the space. I don't mind stepping right on top of each other.
All right, so for me, I'm going to disagree with this thing from the premises start, because I've seen these dual sink bathrooms forever. This doesn't feel like it's anything new. But secondarily, not only do my wife and I not use the same sink, I'm in a whole different bathroom. She has 2 sinks, and I have been exiled to another bathroom altogether.
That's
because
funny.
she has a lot of makeup stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole production.
She's a hairstylist. She's got all her hair gear in there. She's got a million things going on. So I'm exiled across the hall. Now, part of that did start because I used to be on the morning newscast. So I would be getting up at,
Right.
2:30 in the morning to start getting ready.
Yes.
And so it made sense for me to be over there. But
makes
we've
sense.
never recombulated. We've never gotten back together there.
Now, I mean, that's not to say that when we've been on vacation before and the hotel room has had 2 sinks that you're like, oh, this is kind of nice. I'm not saying I couldn't adjust to 2 sinks, and might it be hard to go back if I didn't, if I had like regular use. I do wish we had a larger bathroom, because I do think we are like very much on top of each other sometimes in a way that's like, no, I need you to actually get out of the way so I can get my toothbrush.
Physically need you to not be in here so
right,
I
like
can
I
be
need
in
you
here.
to step out so I can step in, and then I can step out, and then you can step in. So I think a slightly larger space is nice, but I don't know. I feel like we always shared everything.
But I think that is one of those things where you had it a certain way and you can do it.
Sure.
Doesn't mean it's the most optimal
No.
way to do it.
This is true, but yeah, I don't know that I like calling it a sink divorce, but it does seem that couples are more interested in creating a more luxury bathroom space. I know that my brother right now, he and his wife, they're looking for a new house, and one of their requirements is like the bathroom is a big deal. So
Yeah.
one of the problems with some of the older homes is bathrooms were geared to be more functional as opposed to sort of that self-care space of sort of the
Yeah.
spa room bathroom.
And if you want to update it, that is such a big
Yes.
expense that it's nice if you're buying a new home to already have what you want there.
to have the bathroom needs met.
Yeah.
For sure. So I thought it was just kind of interesting of a story there. But I'm not anti 2 sinks, but it's not my natural inclination of like, oh, we have to have 2 sinks or we're never going to survive.
Or you can be like me, exiled to
To a
planet
whole
Pluto.
completely different bathroom. I mean, I don't hate that. Another thing we wanted to talk about too is if you're scrolling through TikTok, do you ever sometimes get those reminders that pop up that are like, hey, it's time to stop scrolling. You've been on TikTok too long.
So I do, and it's gonna go into what's about to be said here.
Yep.
But I get a very guy from Boston reaction. I'm like, you think you're better than me? Don't tell me what to do.
See, that I kind of get. Now, when you get these, is it like an advertisement that pops up, or is it like, hey, stop scrolling? Like, is it a user that's like,
Sometimes it's a user, or sometimes
Yeah.
it's an ad disguised as a user.
Right.
I also have my little thing set where like after an hour, it's like, do you want to keep used your hour? And then I promptly just go like, yes, I'm going to keep doing
You're
this
not the boss of
anyway.
me.
I know I put this in place myself. I'm still mad about it. So
They do say that a new study says they might actually make you scroll longer when you get those pop-ups. Now, this makes me feel a lot better about my TikTok usage because I don't get that many of these. So maybe I'm not on long enough to get the, hey, time to stop.
It might just be your algorithm. And actually, the
Could
fact
be.
that we're talking about it right now, you might get one today.
That's also true. I'll keep an eye out. But researchers at the University of Mississippi found that folks who trust ads more are more likely to take those reminders seriously. But instead of logging off, they end up diving deeper into the app. They're calling this the digital detox paradox, and it's got experts rethinking how social media platforms push wellness. What makes algorithms so predatory is that, you interact with content that you're interested in. So it knows if there's sort of a niche subject of something or something about you that you wish was different, they're like, well, here's your quick fix. And so I feel like skincare products, makeup products, lots of things that are like, oh, do you wish you had a few less fine lines on your face? And you're like, I sure do. It's easy to want to scroll through that content and interact with it more. And I think where social media is a little bit more dangerous than traditional media consumption is that you don't, and especially younger users, don't always know that it's an advertisement right off the bat, because it's disguised as a user saying, look at how great my skin is, like if you guys want to be like me, but it's not even always that obvious.
And it's interesting because I get so angry at that stuff. Like once I've seen one of them and realized it's an ad, like the speed at which I'll scroll out of them because I don't want it to be in my algorithm and I don't want to get fed that anymore. So it's sometimes it can backfire for people like me, but apparently it must work enough.
It does open the door to, I'm curious how maybe schools and education are going to look at more social media literacy as opposed to just media literacy and determining the differences between like what's an endorsed paid for ad. Because I know there were some dangerous like detox teas that people were falling for that just completely emptied your system in a way that people were, doctors are like, no, don't drink these all the time. Like you have to, and I think there's a lot of potential for irresponsible usage for products that aren't meant to be used a certain way.
I've been saying for years that I think it should be a freshman year of high school class, just how to read the internet, how to spot fraud, how to it should just be one full year class where all you do is you look at, you've seen some information. How do you track down whether that is from a reputable site? Did you look at the ending of the URL there?
How to fact check.
Is this an ad pretending to not be an ad? Like, how do you parse all that stuff out? Because I think that we need to be giving kids the tools to deal with this at a younger age, and maybe we can make an online version available for all of us out there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been sent. I've gotten into an online disagreement or two in my day, and people have been like, what's your source? And they've sent me like the weirdest, worst looking website built by some random person. And I'm like, this is not a reliable source.
Links to nothing at all.
I'm like, I swear if you cite ancient aliens, we're done.
My source is trust me, bro.
Right. And so I definitely think learning how to read an accurate article, learning how to fact check an article, all of that is very important. And I think it plays into your social media literacy. So just some foods for thought today here on Coastlife. But we do have a show to get to. Let's see what's coming up today on Coastlife. Calling all artists and filmmakers, there's an opportunity to get your work seen in front of many, many individuals at the Rehoboth Beach International Film Festival.
Plus, it's going to be double the trouble, twice the fun with our Pet of the Week.
And if you are a small business owner and you need a little bit of assistance, a little bit of help in keeping your small business up and running, we're going to talk to the folks that can make that happen. All that and more is coming up on Coastlife.
Coastlife is sponsored by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, Shell Brothers, and the Parker Group.
Well, Coastlife, we've got so many incredible small business owners here along Delmarva's coast, and maybe you're thinking, you know what? That's something I would like to tackle too, but you have no idea where to start. You're not alone, and luckily there are some experts out there to help you. We've got Tom Thunstrom joining us on the Coastlife couch, the Center Director with Delaware Small Business Development Center.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Tom, I want to start because I think that sometimes people get it a little bit confused. What is a small business, all the way from the smallest to what is a pretty big business that still counts as a small business?
So the long and short answer, the federal definition is any business with 500 and fewer employees or 20 million and less in sales.
So that's just a lot of the businesses.
Down here, it's about 98% of all businesses. So we say we basically can help with anybody except for big chicken, big bank, or big hospital. A little bit too big for us.
But everything else, that falls under your purview.
Correct.
So let's talk about what you guys do and how you kind of help folks make their small business dreams come true.
Sure. So we work with businesses from aspiration mode, which means I woke up this morning saying, hey, I want to open a taco truck, to I've been in business for 50 years, I'm thinking of retiring. The kids don't want this. What do I do?
What's the next step?
How do I wind this thing down, transition it either to management or put the thing up for sale? So we can work with businesses at any stage of the way through getting them up in business, or let's say they want to sell it or they want to expand or grow. We can help them out with that advice and with helping them get to a bank for financing at no cost. They've already paid for this because we're funded by the SBA and by the state of Delaware.
Oh, awesome. So say, for example, somebody woke up with a dream of wanting to open a rooftop roller rink and they had no idea where to start. Say, for example, that happened. What would sort of be the first steps of getting hold of you guys and then making that dream a reality?
Sure. So there's a couple of things we would tell them. One, if they've never started a business or run a business before, we have webinars that we do twice a month called How to Start a Business. So we talk about the importance of getting a business plan put together because that's critical. You need to have an idea of what this is going to look like and how that
Writing that down.
rooftop roller rink, how we're going to make this work. But then also, once they do the webinar or go to the webinar, they can get some information on what types of business entities are in Delaware, the steps of getting it established, and then they can request advising with us directly. And then what we'll do is we'll go through the weeds of their business plan, we'll tighten it up, we'll clean it up. If they need to go to the bank for a loan, help them get their financial projections in order because they need to have an idea of how much money this rooftop roller rink's going to make.
Probably quite a bit.
Hopefully a ton. And then get it off to the bank so that they approve the loan.
Fantastic. So from that point on, maybe you've successfully done all of those first steps. The roller rink opens, and all of a sudden you've got 8 million other follow-up questions. Are you guys available to answer those questions?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is very much like Hotel California. You never leave us. You can always come back. We do have clients that have been with us 15, 20 years. And sometimes with some of the beach businesses, it's something just as simple as they email in October and tell us that their year was good, their beach season was good, or I had a rough year and I just need a little bit of advice on how we make it better for the next year. So we can work with businesses wherever they're at in their journey.
Fantastic.
Is there anything that you would say is a common question that people come to you with? Is there something that you guys see a lot of?
Yeah, I think I'll say there's two answers to that. The first one is we have a lot of people who want to get a big loan. They don't have enough money to get started. When somebody's starting a business, you do have to put some skin in the game. So you're going to have to put in at least 10%, more often 20% of the total project. So if your rooftop roller rink is $1 million, plan on at least $100,000 that you're going to have to come up with. So
write that down.
Yep, write that down. I think the other thing too is sometimes credit. Credit's kind of important because if you're going to get financing from a bank, they got to trust you.
Yeah.
So helping them figure out some strategies and some steps on getting their credit tightened up. Now, we're not credit counselors, but we can look at some basics on a credit report if someone provides it to us and say, yeah, fix that, work on this. Here are some resources outside of the SBDC that you can take advantage of that will help you on budgeting, help you on credit, and get you in a better spot to come back to us.
Yeah. Well, Tom, this is clearly such a great resource, the Small Business Development Center, for folks that are maybe ready to start taking those first couple steps. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you guys?
So go to our website, delawaresbdc.org. We have our training schedule on there, so you can go to see when our webinars are taking place on how to start a business. Or if you are in business already and you want to see one of us, hit the request advising button and fill the information out, and then we'll get in contact with you.
Fantastic.
Seems pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Well, Tom, thank you so much for what you guys do and helping people make their small business dreams come true.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Coming up on Coastlife, maybe another dream of yours is to create the perfect space for maybe your pool, maybe a place to store your boat. We've got the folks that can make those dreams happen when we get back.
You're watching Coastlife with Leah Rizzo and Charlie Sokaitis.
Well, summer is almost here. We know a lot of people are going to be planning those trips, planning those vacations, and a couple of holidays getting thrown in the mix there. You got Memorial Day weekend coming up, and you got 4th of July, which is always a big party weekend.
And I know for Memorial Day weekend alone, the number of people that are expected to come across the Bay Bridge is like 350,000 people. So a lot of folks coming this way.
Yes, and many of them may have been planning to use Airbnb, whether it was for their stay or a little bit more of I don't want to say a rowdy reason, but sort of a rowdy reason. A lot of people like to book an Airbnb to throw a party, which I get it. If you don't really have the space in your house to throw a party, but you wanted to get together with your friends and throw a nice one, you might look at a bigger space and rent Airbnb.
Or if you have a bunch of people coming from different places and you want to meet up somewhere.
However, Airbnb has had some issues with parties in the past. So this summer, Airbnb is turning up the heat on their party prevention with its latest anti-party technology, basically deploying machine learning tools to identify and block high-risk bookings that could lead to disruptive gatherings. The system analyzes factors like trip length, booking timing, and distance from the guest's location to flag potential party plans. They implemented some of these measures back around 2020, and they do say they've reported a 50% drop in party incidents across the United States alone. Over 51,000 attempts to book potentially problematic rentals during holiday weekends were blocked or redirected.
So I'm a little bit conflicted about this whole thing because on the one hand, I've seen plenty of videos where people have just it's been too much. They've destroyed an Airbnb throwing a party. But on the other hand, we don't know everything they're doing to select who is not allowed to throw a party. And that starts to get into queasy territory. How are they deciding? Is there any age discrimination, race discrimination? What's going on there? Because I worry about those things when you say, "Oh, they're just using this technology, and we don't happen to know everything in there."
Right? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be a party for people to disrespect a space in an Airbnb. I've seen it many times, and I've stayed with people where we've gone somewhere, and I was appalled at sort of like not my friends but friends of friends that you don't know and the way that they have treated a space before. And I was like, oh, were you not a Girl Scout? Did you not learn to leave things cleaner than you found them? Where like, I mean, I also feel like, if you are the owner of a property that you are renting out via Airbnb, you have to know that there's a certain amount of expectation that things can go wrong. That's why things are insured the way they are, or why, you charge a certain amount of fees to clean up after somebody who's completely reckless. And if you have a completely reckless guest, they do get banned from using Airbnb in the future, which does nothing for you in the immediate time if your property is the one that got damaged, but action does meet consequence.
And there also is a middle ground here because there are some people that don't want, they want their place to be treated like a pristine museum, and that's not realistic either.
Right, why'd you put it on Airbnb?
People are renting it to come stay and have fun and have a good time and maybe do some grilling on the grill outside and having a small gathering, but not a raucous frat party either.
So it is sort of fascinating, but I do think it's a very, very, very fine line on pre-blocking people from booking parties. I think for all the factors that you said.
I worry about it a little bit. Moving on to our next topic, though, we do have another thing to discuss here in this block, and we're talking about paycheck over passion, which I think is something a lot of people can understand. And an article had come out recently, and it was basically breaking down, I think this is something a lot of people know, but maybe not at the guidance counselor stage.
Sure.
Which is that you can follow your passion. You can be anything you want to be. But it doesn't always mean that that's the thing that's going to make you the most money, and sometimes that is a decision that you've got to make one way or the other.
It is, and it is a decision that I think is much easier to make when you're younger and your brain is not fully developed and you're like, I'm going to do what I love and nothing's going to stop me. And then those first couple of paychecks come through and you're like, I can't afford a lifestyle. A rent even. So you do have to kind of redirect and re-guide the reality maybe sometimes of those dreams, or knowing, hey, if I'm going to explore my passion and I know it doesn't pay well, I might need to pick up another job somewhere. So I am a big believer personally in loving what you do. I don't necessarily believe in, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, because I love what I do and I work really hard. And it is so much harder to drag your feet into a space that you don't like the work, and it makes it really difficult. I mean, I think that payoff has to be really high in order to do something you don't enjoy.
Well, we're both sitting here on a couch looking at cameras and talking, so we obviously chose the passion project. I think it's safe to say the passion project is what we chose. Which is what all of local journalism is doing. You come in right out of college, none of those people are making good money at all. But it's a passion, and it is a career. And when you look at your friend that maybe came out as an architect or an engineer or an accountant, they're going to be starting at a different wage than where somebody who's pursuing maybe an art career or, again, a journalism career or any of those things are going to be starting. And you just have to be aware of that.
Sure.
And you have to know how long you can chase that before you either have to make a decision that you're going to exceed a certain threshold or chase something else eventually.
Sure, and I think that's too where other life factors crop up. When you get married, do you decide you want to have kids? When you have kids, there's a whole nother layer of lifestyle that you need to be able to afford and provide for. And so maybe that passion project needs to change gears, and you aren't allowed to maybe chase what you love, what you do, but it's a different kind of love. It's a love for your family now that you can kind of redirect that love and that energy. Yeah, so it's always an interesting topic of conversation. It's one that kids and their parents will go round and round and round about for years to come. I don't think that conversation will ever end, but I think it is important to remember that it's okay to love what you do and not maybe have the biggest paycheck in the room.
Yeah, sometimes there's enough. Some people have enough, and that's okay.
Yes, and I actually think that's an extra important point to hit on, especially with social media, because I feel like it is this ever chasing. You have to keep up with the Joneses, I think, with especially your 25 and under crowd where the brain isn't quite fully developed yet, and they're like, I want that, I want that, I want that. And it's this,
I got to be honest,
give me more
I don't
mentality.
think it has anything to do with age anymore. I think it's everybody.
Well, no, that's true. And I think there is an addictive quality to social media that makes it feel obtainable too, where it's like, oh, I could live that lifestyle? Me? So I think it's sometimes good to remember to stay grounded. Love what you do. We've got more of what we love, what we do coming up with some more Coastlife headed your way.
We're talking the International Rehoboth Film Festival, so you will want to stick around, see what's coming your way.
And do you have room in your heart and home for an adorable puppy? We're going to introduce you to the sweetest
cute.
faces.
Incredibly cute.
All that fun is coming your way. Coastlife, we've talked at length about how many talented individuals live here along Delmarva's coast, whether it's the visual arts, the performing arts, or sort of a marriage of the two. And you've heard us talk about the Rehoboth Beach Independent Film Festival before, and it is back for another year. We've got Dave Bever, Executive Director, joining us on the couch today. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So give us some details about the Rehoboth Beach Independent Film Festival, if they've never heard of this film festival, because it really is quite a production.
It is, and this year is pretty exciting. It's our first year. We've actually changed the name. The initials are the same, but we are the Rehoboth Beach International Film Festival.
Yes.
Because we are represented now by multiple countries, and we expect to expand that this year for our 27th year.
That's right. So, we've talked about how many talented individuals there are here along the coast, but as you said, you've sort of expanded that reach internationally. What does it feel like to bring all this talent, from the directors to the actors to the production side, right here to Rehoboth Beach?
Well, it's really exciting, and it's a challenge to make it something exciting and an event for them that they want to come back year to year, but also make it something of the community that the people from the coastal communities want to come year after year.
Yeah, and it really is, like we said, quite a production. So what does the schedule sort of look like for the International Film Festival?
Well, submissions are already open. We use a platform called Film Freeway, where the filmmakers themselves will submit their films for consideration. If we keep up pace with last year, which we hope to do, we will have 75 films screened over the course of 7 days.
Nice. And I remember last year, too, there were showings and panelist conversations and a red carpet. Are you guys bringing out all the works again?
We are doing that again this year, and we're doing it even just a little bit bigger, we hope.
Fantastic. Well, you said that submissions are open, so what should filmmakers do? Is there sort of a list of requirements? Is there something that they should look out for to put together films?
We use a platform called Film Freeway that the industry uses for film festivals. So if you want to submit your film, you would go to www.filmfreeway.com and enter Rehoboth Beach International Film Festival, and you'll find us.
Fantastic. So for folks who maybe are just looking to attend the film festival itself, maybe not with a film submission, but they just want to see what's going on, the when and where this year for the film festival? The
film festival this year will be from November 3rd through 9th, primarily at the Cinema Art Theater in Lewis, which is the home of the Rehoboth Beach Film Society, at 17701 Dartmouth Drive, right behind the Wawa. If you put it in your GPS, it'll say right behind the Wawa. So, and that has been the home of the festival for the last 9 years.
Yes, and it's a really neat space and a really neat venue. And let's talk a little bit about the Rehoboth Beach Film Society, sort of as an organization, because you guys are a nonprofit.
Yes, we are.
Tell us a little bit about what you do in the area.
So we began 27 years ago exclusively as the festival, but we had the name Rehoboth Beach Film Society, and in 2016 we were lucky enough to be able to renovate the Cinema Art Theater, which is what we call the space, to be the home of not just the festival, but 5 days a week we're showing the best in independent film, documentaries, foreign films, now showing some classic films, and some of our most popular experiences are exhibitions on screen, the Met Live, and the National Theater, which brings other arts to the coastal community from the kinds of venues that folks don't necessarily can't get to here, but they can get to them virtually in our space.
Sure. So if folks are looking to maybe get involved, what sort of roles do you have available with the Rehoboth Beach Film Society that folks could take on?
Well, obviously being a member and attending the films, but also we have a robust volunteer program. We have about 40 amazing volunteers. They help us with work in the theater. They help us carry out the festival. We'll need lots more volunteers for the festival this year.
There you go. Listen up.
Yes, so if folks are interested, please check out our website, rehobothfilm.com.
Fantastic. Well, Dave, he's not going anywhere because you mentioned bringing sort of all the arts together. If you are a visual artist, there's an opportunity for you to get involved with the film festival as well. We'll get the details on that when we get back. Well, Coastlife, before the break, we were chatting with Dave Bever, Executive Director with the Rehoboth Beach Film Society, and he hasn't gone anywhere because we were chatting about the Rehoboth Beach International Film Festival, but there's an opportunity for visual artists coming up to get involved as well, folks who paint or print or photography. What sort of opportunities do you have for those artists to get their work out in front of many, many eyes with this International Film Festival?
Well, as I mentioned before, we're very much invested in this being an experience for filmmakers and for the coastal community, and one of the really cool ways that this stays connected to the coastal community, is that every year we have a poster contest to design what will be the artwork for the entire festival. Nice. It'll be on the posters, it'll be on our website, it'll be on all the merch.
Nice.
So that's ongoing. And we're looking for submissions from local artists. The size of the art can range from 11 by 17 to 24 by 36.
Okay.
We'll do everything we can to make sure that your signature on your artwork appears on all of those various avenues. And the contest is open now through June 20th.
So for artists who, maybe are working on their designs and they're coming up with their ideas, where should they submit their artwork to for this contest?
They can go to our website to learn more about it and how to submit. It's rehobothfilm.com. And again, we're looking for submissions that really play up the theme of cinema and connect it to the coastal community. Our logo includes a lighthouse, so things like that that make you think about the beach and film, which is the essence of the Film Society.
Fantastic. So before the break, we were also sort of talking about the Rehoboth Beach Film Society and what you guys do and how you sort of blend many of the arts together. And I feel like this is a great, not only opportunity, but sort of spotlight for those artists. Why is it important to you guys as an organization to kind of help do that? I mean, like you said, you've expanded this film festival itself to be international, but calling it home here on the coast and highlighting some local artists as well.
Well, highlighting local artists and highlighting the arts that we show, including film, but other than film, is really about the total experience for folks who are from here and folks who may not get access to those experiences, but also folks who have relocated here, retired here, who are used to the kind of arts experiences that you might not find in this area, but luckily we do find them here, and not just with the Film Society, but with the other extraordinary arts organizations here along the coast. I
mean, I really think that has been sort of one of the greatest advantages to having so many folks who have retired here from all over the country, and they bring a little bit of flavor from everywhere they are to kind of blend all of these large-scale art operations and bring it home right here to the cozy coast, which we really, really enjoy that. So again, Dave, if you could give us the details that artists need to know to submit their artwork for this contest.
Yes, the contest is ongoing through June 20th. Submissions need to be 11 by 17 up to 24 by 36, and you can go to our website, rehobothfilm.com, to learn more and submit.
Fantastic. And that's also where folks can go if they're interested in some volunteer opportunities or membership opportunities as well.
Or even to learn what movies we're showing this week.
There you go. Well, Dave Bever, thank you so much for coming in today and chatting with us about not only the upcoming International Film Festival, but also this art contest as well.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Coming up on Coastlife, though, maybe you are ready to open your hearts to not one, but possibly two puppies. We will introduce you to those cute little faces when we get back. Well, Coastlife, normally on Fridays, we do our pet of the week, but these adorable little puppy faces were just too cute to wait. We've got Faith Wright joining us on the Coastlife couch with Brandywine Valley SPCA, and you have brought two adorable pups with us. You've got Finnegan, and this is Fiona?
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, so tell us about these two. They're so cute.
These babies are part of a litter of 8.
Oh my.
They were born in our care 7 weeks ago. And so what we're doing right now is just showing everybody that we've got them at our animal rescue center. They are available for adoption. Right now it's pre-adopt, so you do a $50 deposit to hold your puppy of your choice.
Okay.
They're getting spayed and neutered next Tuesday, and then they can be picked up on Wednesday.
Oh my goodness.
As you can see, they're very rambunctious. They're really super sweet. There's 8 total. One has been pre-adopted, so we have these 2 plus 5 other ones available for adoption right now for the pre-adoption.
I do think it is always a good reminder about puppy responsibilities.
Yes.
So for folks who have maybe never had a puppy before in those stages, but have always wanted one, what are maybe some good reminders for puppy owners and puppy responsibilities?
So obviously they're going to need to be fed 3 times a day. They need to go for vaccines until they're 20 weeks old. Potty training is going to be a big thing with them. Lots of chew toys, because as you can see, they're also teething right now.
Nibbling.
And then of course crate training. I recommend crate training all the time for puppies.
Yeah.
As they get older, you can decide if you still want them in the crate or not, but as puppies, you don't want them destroying your house.
Yeah, absolutely. And those little puppy teeth are sharp.
Yep. And they like to chew, and these guys are going to be, these puppies are going to be big puppies too, so they might they might look small-ish right now, but these are some big puppies for 7 weeks old.
Yes, they've got big puppy bellies, and they're going to be big dogs. So those are all great reminders for puppies and puppy responsibilities. I think the training is also a great reminder, because you know, a lot of people want to take their dogs out and about in this areas, to restaurants and public spaces. So it's good to get them exposed. For folks who want to maybe take on 2 of them, is that something that they can do?
I wouldn't ever want 2 of them, but I mean, if somebody really, really desperately wants to, they can definitely talk with our staff about that and get counseled on sibling rivalry. And you know, there's just some things that are there. We don't ever say no to 2 puppies, but we talk about heavy counseling with them.
That's all great. Great resources, great information, great things to know about taking on one of these adorable puppies into your home. And because they're puppies, I mean, they're probably going to be a good fit in almost any lifestyle.
Yeah, unless you're like, you know, sedimentary and don't want to have to chase after a puppy.
Anybody who is ready to take on the puppy, these guys are going to be good.
They're going to be good with your children. They're going to be good with your other dogs. You know, probably they can get acclimated to cats pretty easily.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Well, they're definitely getting a little rammy here, getting a little ready for some playtime. So once again, for folks who are interested in adopting a puppy, one of the remaining that are there, or putting in a free adoption fee, where should they go and what can they do?
So these are located at our Animal Rescue Center at 12202 Shingle Point Road here in Georgetown. You can also go to our website, bvspca.org, and look at available animals, because you know, we have these puppies, but if you're not ready for a puppy but you still want a dog, we have plenty of dogs at all of our locations across here, Jersey, Pennsylvania, and DC.
Oh my goodness, you two. Well, we'll let them get to their playtime here. Faith, thank you so much for coming in and bringing these 2 super cute faces, and we're going to get you guys home. I know you're going to get adopted in no time, but we do have a little bit more Coastlife to get to. That's up next. Well, Coastlife, before we let you go, we want to remind you that this adorable pup and Fiona, they're both up for adoption. This is Finnegan here. And if you are willing and ready to adopt a puppy, you can find them at Brandywine Valley SPCA. Charlie's downstairs getting ready for Coast TV News at 5. That's up next. Have a great rest of your day. And we've got some more Coastlife fun to get to for you tomorrow.